Hey everyone, welcome back to ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies. You're here tonight with the ATX VGC crew. You've got myself, Gems VGC, as well as I'll let everyone else introduce themselves.
I'm Nibs.
I'm Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm Tiki.
Y'all can tell we definitely practice this a lot ahead of time.
Somehow this is our worst one yet, and we've been doing this for like
that
4
was,
months.
That was not good.
No, it wasn't. But thanks everyone for coming out. We are here tonight. We are going to be doing this. We have Series 6, I believe, planned for the next 2 weeks until the DLC is out, and then we will have tentative Series 7.
Yes.
Yeah, super excited. So with that, we have 4 battles lined up tonight. The very first one is going to be myself versus Justin Snores. In our second battle, we have Chase versus Adam. In our third battle, we're going to have Nibs versus Amy, right? Or no?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Nibs versus me.
That's right.
Nibs versus Roller
yeah,
Coaster.
me and Roller
That's
Coaster,
right.
yeah.
And then finally, Sir Wilson versus Amy rounding us out. So I want to say hey to all the chat that's chiming in so far. Hope y'all are doing well. Good to see you, White Tigers and Amy. Yeah, we got all the casters playing tonight.
Oh yeah, all of us are playing. This is like the first time in a super long time.
Yeah.
All 5 of us, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So with that, if y'all give us 1 second, we're gonna go ahead and switch on over. I'm gonna go try and get matched up with Justin Snores, and you'll have Nibs and Roller Coaster taking you for the first 2 games in commentary. So give us 1 second, and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much, Richibon Gaming, for the raid. Welcome to the ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies.
Yeah, welcome. I'm sad that you just missed out on our Lillipup match, but we have had some very interesting Pokemon, and we'll continue to have some very interesting ones. Hopefully, as the rest of the stream goes on.
Yeah, we've got some kind of crazy stuff tonight. Chase bringing Lillipup and winning with it. 2 games, not just 1. How's y'all's nights going? We are about to see another game here. We've got, these are ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies. We have typically about 4 best of 3s every Monday night. And thanks so much for the follow, too. Welcome. So these Monday Night Friendlies, we typically have a series of 3 to 4 best of 3s. We broadcast them and have 2 commentators that kind of talk through the battle. So y'all joined at a great time because we're about to have our caster battle where we've got Nibs Plays Games versus Roller Coaster.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you think of... I know that Nibs has been using Grimmsnarl Arcanine for forever. It seems like he has switched it up to Grimmsnarl Volcarona now,
Yeah.
as this is the new kind of updated version of it for Series 6. I mean, what do you think of these 2 teams?
Yeah, these look interesting. I know a bit about Roller Coasters as I lost to it 2 weeks ago in the Texas VGC tours. He actually won the second Texas VGC tours of the Series 6 tours using this Rain team plus Urshifu and Sylveon. We are seeing a lot of Sylveon tonight. I'm not sure if you are picking up on that, but I think this is the 3rd or 4th team we've seen a Sylveon on.
Yeah, no, I think Sylveon, I mean, obviously with the lack of Togekiss, finding a fairy type somewhere is very helpful. But I think Sylveon has gotten a lot better as the meta has developed more. As we've seen more of like Bandit or Shifu pop up, and like Quick Attack does like 45% to that, I'm pretty sure, if it's on
Yeah.
Dynamax. So it's like a really good late game option, especially as the format has gotten more offensive and has very good special defense, allowing it to survive like if EV properly, like Porygon Z, Max Strike, and other things.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in that last game there where you went for the Hurricane and, what was it, Max Resonance into the Sylveon and only did about, like, 60% total from 2 Pokemon.
Yeah. It has a lot of special bulk, which is like one of the nicest things to have in this type of format.
Yeah, so that's something I think that's really interesting in each of the formats that we've seen is Sylveon kind of late in format looks nice. Like, if you recall the IC at the end of the Series 4 meta, had that team, both you and I ran it during the IC. Neither of us ran it particularly as well as the player that won it all, but it did include a Sylveon on it.
Yeah, I mean, for that team specifically, like the Sylveon Tyranitar style of play, where you can quick attack yourself to proc the weakness policy, or Max Darkness and Hyper Voice with the special defense drops, was one of my favorite, like, honestly, it's probably my favorite archetype of 2020.
Yeah, for sure.
It was on a lot of the Durant teams, and then it became its own sand team with Excadrill as well. And it was one of the safest ways to play because you had a bunch of like easy win conditions.
Yeah, so here we see in the game, we saw the leads. It was Politoed Kingdra versus the Grimmsnarl Lapras, and we see turn 1 that Politoed opting to switch out, and Gothitelle coming in to go ahead and trap some of these Pokemon. So Gothitelle also, he avoids that paralysis with a Thunder Wave, and Kingdra goes for the Protect to avoid the Freeze Dry.
Yeah, I mean, very neutral turn 1. A little bit unlucky on Nim's end, but the Kingdra still is in a little bit of a sticky situation, not being able to really do that much damage.
It looks like it is going to go ahead and Dynamax here, though. I imagine that's a Kingdra in the Lure Ball and not a Gothitelle.
I would assume so. Maybe it's just trying to pick up the Grimmsnarl with like a Max Geyser, because I don't think it would be doing very much to this Lapras, especially if it Dynamaxes.
Yeah, but in return, if the Dynamax, the Lapras Dynamaxes, it doesn't have access to Freeze Dry, which is 4 times super effective. It is instead a Max Resonance, which is only neutral.
Yeah. Oh, I will say, Rujibon in the chat was saying Sylveon's very solid for Series 6 if you're not using Prim, which, yeah.
Yes.
Like, Prim is still, like, the best fairy type, I think. Being able to set up, like, a fast Dynamax Starfall for a Moongus. Being able to work in Tailwind and Trick Room, it gives it so much versatility, and Water is just such a good defensive typing. But I think, like, other than that and maybe Clefairy, like, Sylveon is up there as the best fairy type at this point.
Yeah, so we see here the Fake Out going into that Lapras, trying to avoid a potential Freeze Dry, but instead this Fake Tears is going to make it do a lot more damage with the Max Resonance into the Kingdra here.
Yeah, it should survive. It should take about 75%, I would guess.
It's like it did about 60.
Oh, yeah.
A bulkier Kingdra, perhaps.
I have to switch over one sec. My video's slightly behind. But okay, I'm good now.
Okay, perfect. So. Yeah, so we see here is Sylveon is the switch for Nibs. Now he's got Sylveon, Lapras, 2 things that threaten that Kingdra. We know another G-Max Resonance will just KO that Kingdra.
But the nice thing is, like, Kingdra still will probably get to pick up the Sylveon with, like, a Helping Hand Geyser if the Sylveon chooses not to protect.
We actually see a switch out from the Gothitelle here, switching back into the Politoed.
Yeah.
And a Max Guard coming out from this Kingdra.
Okay, so what I just said for last turn also applies true for this turn, with a different Pokemon using Helping Hand at this point, potentially.
Yeah, Rollercoaster loving Helping Hand on his team, having access to it with both Gothitelle and the Politoed. Although that Politoed takes a lot of damage from the Hyper Voice, the combination Hyper Voice and, was it Max Resonance that went into that?
I believe it was Max Geyser.
Yeah, Max Geyser in the rain, that's right. So here we see Nibs recognizing the kind of damage that Sylveon could potentially be in, going for the Protect play, as we see Rollercoaster opt to forego his last turn in the Dynamax and go ahead and switch out that Kingdra.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very safe play there. He's almost realized, like, 1 more KO and you're in the Parasong endgame. But it's going to be very difficult to get that 1 KO with a Sylveon behind Veil. Or he's just going for that mid-game Parasong.
Yeah, forcing one of these 2 Pokemon, probably both, to switch out at some point. This Max Lightning here, we know Nibs does like to carry Thunder on a majority of his Lapras, so this is going to be enough to go ahead and KO the Politoed.
Yeah, I would say at this point Nibs probably has a bit of the upper hand, with it being a 3-3 game, even though he has the Perish counter. Just because if the Lapras can switch out and come back in, it's going to be very difficult to be KO'd.
Yeah, exactly, and it's got access to super effective damage. But here we see the Urshifu. Not necessarily something you want to see in the face of a Sylveon, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I believe Gothitelle has Fake Out pressure this turn.
It does, yes.
So something like a Fake Out and a Close Combat into the Lapras is somewhat safe. Although it's not going to do that much damage.
Yeah, I don't recall the item on this Urshifu, having played against it, and also watched it be cast for the finals of that tournament. So we see here the Fake Out Close Combat, not enough to KO the Lapras, unfortunately for Rollercoaster. It's also going to have that side effect of lowering its defense and special defense, but I think this might actually be a Focus Sash. Oh, we don't know.
Why did that do so little?
Good question.
I guess I'm just so used to like Life Orb max lightning and like weakness policy max lightning that I'm not used to like Light Clay potentially.
Yeah, it's also coming off
Thunderbolt.
of Thunderbolt instead of Thunder, which is
Yeah.
what I feel like you see in the more offensive Sylveon or
Yeah, no.
you know, Lapras, not the Sylveon that's on screen.
Mhm.
Also, I totally agree with you, Richiban. Like Sylveon as a defensive core makes her really solid, especially in this meta where you don't have to deal with an Excadrill. Where you know what's the best Steel type right now?
Corviknight?
Yeah, Corviknight, pretty much.
Is there another steel type?
A Scavalier?
Oh, I guess that is true.
But that's only if you're in Trick Room. So we see the Lapras here opting for Freeze Dry as a double protect comes out from Rollercoaster, trying to go ahead and just stall these. It looks like he's going to be able to, if this Gothitelle doesn't go down, he's going to be able to actually pick up the KO on both of these Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, like getting rid of the Sylveon through Perish would work wonders because Hyper Voice is pretty much doing large damage to all three things left on Rollercoaster's side.
Yeah.
So Nib should kind of be wary of losing this Sylveon without getting like 1 to 2 KOs.
Yeah. So if this is in fact Sash or Shifu, he's kind of in the best possible position here, where it's not going to take a KO, short of potentially a KO onto the Gothitelle. Opting instead of letting Perish go ahead and pick up the KO here, the Wicked Blow will come out. This Hyper Voice again, it's definitely taking that Urshifu down to Sash. Critical hit, I'm sure that did not matter at all.
Yeah. -1 defense Urshifu Dark type with the 4 times weakness. Yeah, I don't think that mattered.
Yeah, it mattered absolutely zero. So interestingly, did the Gothitelle, did it switch in on Parashong? Is it also going to be fainting this turn? Giving a free switch into the Kingdra? Or, yep, it did.
It is.
Yeah, which honestly, it did its job. It kept everything in. And now...
This is an interesting endgame.
Yeah, this is really interesting, given the fact that this Urshifu's down to 1 HP, but you also know that this Conkeldurr has access to a priority move in Mach Punch. The Kingdra now no longer having Rain, Hurricane isn't a guaranteed hit, despite the way you spammed it in the last game.
Yeah, it's going to come back down to a couple 50-50s, calling for Tex, and then will also probably come down to hitting a Hurricane to multiple Hurricanes.
Yeah, depending on which item this Conkeldurr is. I don't know if I saw if it was... If it's AV, then you're definitely going to need multiple Hurricanes.
Yeah, well, and Veil is up, so you might need like 3 Hurricanes.
Yeah, exactly. If it's Life Orb, things get a little bit easier in terms of the Hurricane damage, but, you know, not a ton easier here. You see Nibs really thinking about this Mach Punch. Urshifu opts for the Detect here from Rollercoaster. It looks like Conkeldurr called the Mach Punch correctly, and that's going to be enough to pick up the Kingdra. That critical hit there, I don't know if that mattered. What do you think?
I think it really depends on what the Conkeldurr's item is. If it's Iron Fist, I don't think that mattered. If it's Guts, may have mattered.
Yeah, maybe the play on the previous turn was to go ahead and switch out that Gothitelle. We actually see the battle go ahead and get canceled, and I believe that's going to be a Rollercoaster forfeit as Nibs picks up the win here in Game 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that Rollercoaster has some adjustments he can make, but like the real issue is dealing with Sylveon plus Lapras is just very difficult for a team that like Kingdra is the main offensive sweeper and can't do that much.
Yeah.
Urshifu also can't do that much against the two, especially with Shell Armor Lapras and Hyper Voice from Sylveon. Like it's just a rough matchup at this point. I guess he would have to use the Ferrothorn a little bit if it is that Iron Defense set.
Yeah.
And maybe the Sylveon.
So I'm going to use my information from having previously played this team to tell you it is not in fact the Iron Defense set.
Oh well, that makes it a lot more difficult with the Conkeldurr on the opposing side.
Yeah, I believe it's the AV set based on the moves that it used against me. It typically, what he would do is in Game 2 switch to the Trick Room mode, and from the Trick Room mode go for like 3 max Steel Spikes, and then he had access to Knock Off and Body Press, which almost assuredly guarantees that it is in fact the Assault Vest variant.
Okay. I would say then the way through this game is probably the Trick Room mode. Being able to get Steel Spikes up and then bring in a late game like Sylveon to deal with the late game Conkeldurr. That would be my guess of what the best option is, because there's not really that much outside of the Volcarona that can deal with the Ferrothorn. Once it has a defense boost, obviously.
Yeah.
And the Volcarona probably doesn't want to be in this game just because of like the rain mode and getting trapped in by Gothitelle and then just getting KO'd by Kingdra.
Yeah, there's not a ton of Volcarona. I know that he was really excited about it. He was talking a lot in the Discord specifically about the Volcarona and looking at using that to... I know that there was some chat going on the team building channel. Did he end up bringing that to you for EV Hour last Thursday or no?
We talked about it a little bit, but not too in depth.
This is very interesting. Oh, it looks like you quickly backed out of it. I know that this used to be one of his favorite Pokemon to go ahead and Gigantamax.
Yeah, but is this Gigantamax? I don't believe this one is Gigantamax.
Oh, I'm not sure.
So the other thing is, I would assume just based on other Gothitelles that this is going to be a Colberberry Gothitelle. So maxing and doing damage into the Gothitelle probably isn't your best option.
Yeah. We'll see here. Colberberry is a pretty common set on these on these Perish Trap kind of teams, especially with the rain mode. So let's see Nibs here. Go ahead and go for that. I believe we saw just Dynamax Grimmsnarl, so yeah. I'm not sure if that's
G-Max Snooze would be nice here, but
G-Max Snooze would be really nice.
It is not what we're going to be seeing.
Yeah. Hey, White Wolf, welcome to the stream. You're watching the ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies. We're in Game 2 of set number 3 of the night. So we see a fake out into that Grimmsnarl. Going more or less wasted, followed up by a Max Geyser also into that Grimmsnarl, doing about 40% damage there. Maybe 45.
Yeah, well, at this point, honestly, that's not that big of a deal for Roller Coaster because a Max Geyser is going to be KOing this Corviknight since it can't Dynamax and can't switch out. Another Max Geyser probably KOs the Grimmsnarl once the rain is up. Yeah,
so we see the Colberberry proc here from the Gothitelle. This Max Darkness not going to be enough to pick up the KO, so yeah, that Corviknight's in a really dangerous position. The Grimmsnarl probably going to be free next turn to do whatever it wants, but I don't know if perhaps a Max Starfall into Kingdra gets some damage off, but it's not going to be enough.
And the real question is, does it even survive the turn? Because that Geyser did 40-45%-ish.
Yeah, that's true.
And now that rain is up, you have the 1.5 times boost, so that should be a clean KO unless it's some crazy roll that we just got high roll and then maybe we'll low roll next time.
Yeah. Looking to try and switch out there for a sec, or at least check what Pokemon he has in the back. This Corviknight, you can just ignore it this turn. Whatever damage it gets off into you shouldn't be KOing you. But if you do KO the Gothitelle, it lives another turn. So you actually see a withdraw from the Gothitelle, a switch in here to the Politoed to go ahead and eat this Max Darkness. We see the Max Geyser. Who do you think it's targeting here?
I'm guessing Grimmsnarl.
Oh, we see the Corviknight.
Wow.
Just going for the one-hit KO onto that Corviknight because the Gothitelle probably couldn't have lived that turn. Then it would be free to switch out the following turn and avoid a Max Geyser later in the game. I think that was a perfect play from Roller Coaster there, being able to keep your Gothitelle alive. You are -2 special defense on this Kingdra now, so Sylveon can come in and do some pretty big damage, or even a freeze dry from this Lapras also can do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the one issue is going to be that, like, Helping Hand Max move is just going to do a lot of damage still at this point.
Yeah.
I will say this is the first time I've ever seen that Politoed, like, go down just above its Citrus Berry range and not actually get its Citrus Berry.
Typically we say it's perfectly EV'd. Maybe he wasn't using your EV spread. So here we see a Max Guard come out from this Grimmsnarl. I don't think it's targeting that. Yeah.
Yeah, that Sylveon is going bye-bye.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that health bar was like the exact opposite of like the Gen 5 health bar, you know, where it like just very slowly ticks down. I don't know if I've seen one move quite that fast. Especially on a move that's not super effective.
Yeah, no, I'm just with you saying that, I'm just thinking back to those people who would get to level 100 Blissey with full HP EVs, and then like the level 71 Heracross, towards like the min roll is in, like 100.0%, and it just takes like 38 seconds for the HP bar to go down.
Yeah, exactly. I've been playing a little bit of Gen 5 lately myself as I prepare for the impending Series 7 rule set, trying to go back and hunt some previous legendary Pokemon with some decent IVs now that we have the ability to use them from past games using that battle ready mark. So from here, what do you think Nibs' game plan is? Down to his last two Pokemon, both underspeed this Kingdra. He does have the option for a Thunder Wave here. Or does it, I'm sorry, does it, no, he only has two, yeah. For a second I thought he was looking to switch. So he does have access to Thunder Wave where he can have this Lapras go ahead and outspeed the Kingdra, but the last time we saw this in the field, we just saw it Protect come out from that Kingdra.
Yeah, we might just see a Protect Perish song. Oh. Interesting. Helping Hand Hurricane potentially into the Grimmsnarl.
We see the Thunder Wave come out here. This should go ahead and put Lapras in the position to go ahead and knock out. It's -2 Spit F. This move will be... Oh, it's still faster.
Yeah, it's just going to be the equivalent of as if Rain wasn't up.
Oh, that's right. So. Swift Swim. Of course. Of course, that's its most known ability. Yeah. We actually see the Freeze Dry go into the Politoed because of the last time Perish Song being such an issue there for Nibs. But now he doesn't have he doesn't currently have the Veil up, which is one of the best things from Game 1 for him. And now we see that Ferrothorn being the third Pokemon coming out from Rollercoaster. As we know, the fourth is also going to be that Gothitelle.
I think Nibs' play here is protecting to stall out the Rain, and then freezing the Ferrothorn, and then having the having the Kingdra hit itself and paralysis like 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really see a way through this. Maybe dodging like 7 Power Whips as well.
Yeah, if you dodge
might
him,
work.
Yeah, so we see here that he went ahead and stalled out the Rain, so that's good. He does have the ability to go ahead and KO this Kingdra right now, but if he does, how much is he going to take from a Power Whip from this AV Ferrothorn?
Too much. That is the answer to the question.
Oh.
But I don't know, we might just see the freeze right here.
It looks like he's just going for that freeze, opting to just ignore and pray for the paralysis, which does not come through. This Draco Meteor picked up a lot of damage there, about 65%.
Way more than I thought.
Yeah, we're pretty used to seeing Lapras tanking hits from behind the Aurora Veil, and we'll see the double up there just is enough to go ahead and pick up this KO on the Lapras. Oh, hey, Weichel, building a Corviknight VGC team. Very cool. As you can see here, we've got Corviknight featured with Nibs Plays Games team. Unfortunately, all we saw do was bulk up and go down to a Max Geyser in the Rain, but it can be a very versatile steel type here in Series 6.
Yeah, no, I think generally when it has the chance to max and Airstream and Steel Spike, it's in a lot better of a position than just having to support the max. Although late game it is pretty good at supporting a max because it can stall out damage. But yeah, what do you think that Nibs can do now to like swing it back to where it was Game 1?
Yeah, I think that it sort of felt like he led, maybe expecting that Trick Room mode from Rollercoaster that last game with the Grimmsnarl Corviknight. Now, I'm not sure. I really think that screens are his way. Like, when that Lapras and the Sylveon are both sitting behind screens, it's really hard to KO them, and I imagine even the Corviknight might not be the easiest thing if you're able to get some bulk ups off and you bring it in the late game after the Kingdra has either gone down or is no longer max. You're in a much better position because the rest of the team doesn't really hit Corviknight particularly well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would really agree with that. I think the Sylveon behind screens is pretty much the key to this. As long as you can also deal with the Ferrothorn, because the Sylveon deals with 5 out of 6. Yeah. And if something can deal with the Ferrothorn, then you're in a great position.
Yeah, and that Conkeldurr has the potential to. Unfortunately, if it is in Trick Room, the Conkeldurr, I think, will lose to this Ferrothorn more times than not because it will be able to outpace Steel Spikes to max Knuckles, and Steel Spikes will be doing more, and followed up by the Body Press.
I will say, the Conkeldurr, as we did see Game 1, has Fire Punch.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, so that actually...
Yeah, Close Combat, Fire Punch, Mach Punch, High Horsepower.
Yeah, so here we see Rollercoaster go ahead and lead into his Trick Room mode. While we see Grimmsnarl Lapras coming out here from the... from Nibs' side of the field.
Okay, so as we see what Nibs is doing here, I would just like to say that the worst part of Pokemon is that clicking Thunderwave on a Pokemon with 22 speed is actually a viable strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
I very much do not like the way that the mechanic works, and I don't know what the fix is, and it's very easy to complain about something without offering a solution, I will say that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think there needs to be something to do with Thunderwave, just to lower the variance just a little bit, because that 1 in 4 chance of just not moving, especially in a Dynamax metagame, is often game breaking.
Yeah, it's kind of broken. I'd almost rather go back to like the old school mechanic where it's, 1/4 the speed, but remove that chance of not being able to move. I think if you take away
they
that,
always had the 1/4 chance to full para, except the one time that was different, which I wish they would bring back, is that Magic Guard Pokemon can't be fully paralyzed when they're, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so we see a fake out here, actually opting not to go for Trick Room turn 1. We see the G-Max Resonance come out from this Lapras into the Gothitelle, and then I think we're going to see probably a Steel Spike into this Grimmsnarl, which, have we seen the item proc on this? Is it Babiri Berry?
I do not know. It looks like it.
Yep, it is in fact Babiri Berry, so Babiri Berry plus screens, I think this Grimmsnarl is living.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. It's not living another one, though.
Yeah, it definitely isn't living another one, but without fake out pressure, it's going to be able to do what it wanted to do on the previous turn. Whether that's Thunder Wave, going for fake tears, kind of whatever it really wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fake Tears is probably the safest play. Fake Tearsing just to get rid of the Gothitelle so Trick Room doesn't go up, but I will also say that you could just go for that Thunder Wave.
Hey, Noya the teacher, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies stream. So here we actually see the Gothitelle opt for Protect, the Thunder Wave come out into that Ferrothorn, and a Max Lightning go into that Gothitelle, doing absolutely no damage.
Yeah, that did not do anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hopefully the Ferrothorn can get its second Steel Spike off.
Oh,
and
fully paralyzed. That's what Nibs was playing for.
I very much do not like this mechanic, as I have said.
No, yeah, you're on the record. You hate this mechanic. I have to say I'm with you. I don't like the ability to not move. Between that and freeze, it's the least competitive RNG-based. Gothitelle opting for the double protect.
My actual least favorite mechanic.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's double protect. It was as if it was on cue to say, oh, you dislike full paralysis? Let's go ahead and throw a double protect at you, which we know you hate more. Gothitelle here doesn't in fact live this turn. No. The Ferrothorn gets full parried 2 turns in a row.
What a... I
so
don't like it.
Now the Ferrothorn only has 1 Steel Spike boost. It is not in fact in Trick Room, so it's going to be the last thing moving every single turn, short of a minus priority move.
If we look at the bright side, that means its Gyro Ball is a little bit stronger.
It's true, the Gyro Ball will do a little bit more damage if it can in fact break through and connect with the Gyro Ball.
Yeah. I will say this is like very reminiscent of Gen 7 singles, where you have your Ferrothorn switch into Greninjas. And it's like, well, my chance of hitting Power Whip through Dark Pulse Flinch is like not that good. It's about the same as Power Whip through Paralysis.
Yeah. So we see Nibs here kind of contemplating his different moves. Both would hit that Politoed super effectively. One will be terrain boosted, one will be stab boosted. Looks like he's opting for the terrain boost.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows that the Freeze Dry is slightly stronger.
Yeah, for sure. The perhaps trying to call a switch of something else in.
Yeah. It could be just in case. Well, actually.
I was like, it can't
actually,
go for
if you're calling a switch, then I guess the Freeze Dry would make more sense because it hits even more.
Yeah,
like,
it hits more
like 4 times, but. Sir Wilson in the chat is asking, can Dynamax Mons flinch? No, they cannot. Thank goodness.
Yeah, they cannot flinch, which is why Fake Out has definitely gotten a little bit of a nerf this generation.
Yeah.
As well as it's almost a nerf to some of the abilities where it also prevents flinching, because if you're going to be Dynamaxing that mon, it doesn't help you quite as much. They did help them out by also making several of them immune to Intimidate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Inner Focus was that way. I don't know if there was any other. I know Own Tempo, but that didn't prevent flinching.
Yeah, that's just prevents confusion.
Yeah, just imagine people's Dynamax answers being clicking Rock Slide.
That would be terrible.
What a toxic metagame.
Yeah, with Z-Move, at least it's not like it wastes your only Z-Move if you flinch on it. So we see here the calling the Protect on that Politoed potentially as it goes for the fake tears here into the Ferrothorn. A Freeze Dry coming out into that Ferrothorn. It's neutral. It is now. Is it -2 or -4?
I think it's only -2
Yeah,
because I think it's just this Grimmsnarl has been clicking Thunderwave a lot more than it's been clicking Fake Tears.
Yeah, for sure. So spreading around about as much variance into the game as possible with all the Thunder Waves. So we see Sylveon here. It obviously will be moving first. It has access to a Fire-type move, but how much is that really going to do here in the rain?
Not enough.
Yeah.
Although it is -1 defense. It's -2 defense, but with the Assault Vest boost, I believe it is pretty much the equivalent of like -1 defense.
Yeah, because it's Assault Vest is functioning like a +2 stage, while the Fake Tears being a -2 stage. So it's almost at neutral, I believe.
Well, Assault Vest is only 1.5 times.
Oh, it was
so
only one. Okay, I thought it was double for some reason.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was like, that would be
That
way
would
more
be
busted.
broken.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, we see the Gyro Ball come out here. It's going to go ahead and knock out the Sylveon. Oh, it's not. It lives on that 3. Perhaps that Paralysis helping it do just a little bit more, making that roll. We don't know if that was a max roll or a min roll, and perhaps just incredibly unlucky.
I will say, it's only like an 85 base power move against Sylveon normally, but with the just the way the division works with like 80 speed Sylveon. But I will say with the paralysis, it ends up making like 125 base power move, which is, I guess, the one nice thing about this paralysis.
Yeah, for sure. You've also, unfortunately here, have the instance of the Aurora Veil for Roller Coaster. So we see a double Protect here. Interesting play as the Kingdra opts for Muddy Water, which would just be enough to pick up the KO on both of these if it connects with both. And a Gyro Ball into the Lapras. So this is the last turn of Nibs' Aurora Veil. I don't think it matters, with one Pokemon at 3 HP and one Pokemon at 7.
Yeah, I'm not too sure it matters. It's just really going to come down to if Roller Coaster can double hit this Muddy Water, which, based on what we have seen the rest of the game, I'm going to say it might not double hit, but I will very much hope it does.
Yeah, let's see. So, despite all the hacks of this game, it looks like Roller Coaster is able to go ahead and overcome in our first game, or our first set of the night, going to best of 3 instead of just to 2 games.
Yeah, we're bringing it back now, and let's see if we can get 17 straight games or whatever it was to best of 3.
Yep. I find it funny that the knockoff animation still goes through. Or wait, is there still one more Pokemon?
Yeah.
Oh, there is, of course, yeah. I was like, okay. For some reason, I thought those were the last 2, and if that had been the case, then the double Protect actually makes a lot of sense, trying to stall out that. Trying to just opt to stall out the Rain so that there's no longer 100% accurate Hurricane. So what do you think? Conk versus a Ferrothorn that's +1 defense and a Kingdra.
It's just, can it dodge a Hurricane and get a fully paralysis, like a full paralysis?
Looks like Roller Coaster actually opts for the Protect and calls it correctly here.
That was a good play.
And the knockoff here is also going to go ahead and potentially reduce some of the damage output. It is an Assault Vest from Calder. Interesting. So now that makes Kingdra's life much easier.
Yeah, I think that, like, a Ferrothorn attack plus a Kingdra attack would just get the KO here.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Kingdra attack plus Iron Barbs would just get the KO here. So it just depends on if Kingdra can hit its Hurricane, and then the game should be over.
Yeah, so the Muddy Water double hit wasn't the last bit of RNG that Roller Coaster needed, but he is going to opt for the Draco here. I guess that's slightly more accurate and stab boosted as opposed to super effective. 1 HP on that Kinkel there. And let's see what happens. I mean, it will go down to Iron Barbs if it doesn't. And it doesn't even get the KO on the Kingdra.
Oh, what the heck? How is this Conkeldurr EV'd?
I'm not
so
sure,
confused.
but it just lived a Draco Meteor without its Assault Vest. That was an incredible set from our two casters
that
here.
was really good.
A lot of crazy RNG running all over the place, including all the full paras and the Thunderwave plays, but that was a really well played set from our two competitors.
Yeah, I'm glad that while Hacks hurt in the beginning, the game ended very cleanly, and both players had the chance to make good moves in the end, and Rollercoaster just made one extra move with that Protect on Kingdra, baiting out the close combat to win the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that play really went ahead and sealed up the game for him. I think he was already in a pretty decent position, but yeah, that definitely sealed the game. So with that, that completes our third set of the night. We're going to go ahead and move briefly into our fourth set, but
Hey, you like that video? We think you should check this out, and YouTube thinks you should check this one out. Be sure to subscribe for more content.